Hey everybody, this video is going to go over the homework assignments for week 9. You'll see 3 items listed under the tab for week 9 homework assignments, the first of which is to read chapter 29. So chapter 29 is all about APA format. I want you to read through it, read over it, especially the first 4 or 5 pages of the chapter. It has some useful information. Once you get to page 544, you don't really have to read it as much because then it's getting into how to do each type of reference entry in APA format. And again, you don't have to memorize that. But I would like you to at least glance over everything from page 544 on, just so you know that you can come back to this section of the textbook, if you ever have any questions about how to do a specific type of reference entry in APA format. But definitely pay attention to the first few pages. And then there's also another sample APA essay at the end of the chapter if you would like to look at another version of an APA essay. It'll still have all of the formal and required elements of APA format. It's just a different essay than what we covered this week in class. After you've read over chapter 29, the brief sections that I want you to actually read, you're going to move on to week 9 assignment 1, reference entries. So this assignment, we're not doing a research paper, right? However, in order to help you practice, I want you to create a references page as if you did do a research paper, right? If you do a research paper, you have to have a references page at the end, right? So I want you to create one. Well, how do you do that if you're not actually writing a research paper? Well, we're going to pretend. We're going to pretend that you're writing a research paper and this will be your references page. I have provided the sources for you. So if you look at the assignment, I have a book that has only one author, a book that has at least 2 authors, an online journal article with 1 author, and then a print journal article with more than 1 author, information from a website with an author, and then information from a website without an author. So there are 6 different types of sources listed. Different kinds of books, different kinds of journals, different kinds of websites, right? I've given you all the information you need to create the proper reference entry for each of these sources. You don't have to go find a book with only 1 author or an online journal with 1 author. I'm giving it to you, right? You don't have to do that part of the work. So I've cut out that large chunk of time-consuming work for you, and we're going to pretend as if this is the type of source you picked for your hypothetical research paper. The book with 1 author, it says the book is titled Psych, and the author is A. Spencer Rathus. The book was published by Cengage Learning in Boston, Massachusetts in 2015. That is all the information you need in order to create an APA formatted reference entry for that source. So look it up, go to the textbook, go online, use your APA formatting tools in Microsoft Word, however you want to do it. You have the information you need. Now take that information and create a properly formatted reference entry for it. You're going to do that for all 6 of the sources I have provided for you. Once you have all 6 of the entries created, then you're going to put them on the page just like it was your references at the end of your essay. So what you type, I don't want anything else on it. References centered at the top. And then your first entry, remember the whole thing should be alphabetized according to the first word of each entry. No numbers, nothing like that. Just first alphabetized by the first word of each entry. And then remember the hanging indent. Remember it's double spaced, no extra spaces in between each entry, right? I want it to look exactly like it would look at the end of a research paper, okay? I've given you everything you need to create the entries. So now it's up to you to go, to use some other type of tool to create each entry in APA format and then put them all together on a references page, just like they would appear at the end of an essay, okay? Hopefully the PowerPoint that I provided this week in week 9 on useful APA info, it'll come in. It will be useful for this assignment because remember one of the slides was all about how to do a reference entry for information on a website with no author, right? So use that to your advantage. All of the other types of sources that I've given you, the other 5, you should be able to figure out how to create those entries, whether you're using Word or something online or your textbook. If you have any questions about it, once again, think to yourself, have I gone over everything for introduction to research? Have I looked over chapter 26? And then, if you're still struggling, reach out to me and I will help you out as best I can, okay? The third item that's listed for this week is, of course, the week 9 discussion. This one is called Taking Tests and Doing Well. So basically, we're talking about testing situations. So you can read the little introduction to the discussion, and then I'm asking you in the discussion question to talk about your past experiences with test taking. You don't have to list like every single test you've ever taken and how you did on it. But just in general, how does testing go for you for the most part? Are there certain types of tests that you seem to do better or worse on? Is it the specific course or the subject that kind of dictates how well you do on the test? Just think about anything interesting or worthwhile about your experience taking tests, any type of test. And then after that, I want you to talk about your study habits. What are some study habits that you use to prepare for tests and exams? And try to be pretty detailed with your answer. And if you don't have a go-to study method, what are some questions that you would ask someone who typically does well on most tests that they take? What are your strengths and weaknesses when it comes to preparing for tests? So this is an opportunity for you to sort of assess yourself as a test taker, and then also to possibly get some feedback and maybe some helpful tips and tricks from your classmates. So remember to answer my discussion questions in a post by Thursday at 11:59 p.m. and then respond to your classmates by Sunday at 11:59 p.m. If you have any technical difficulties, let me know right away. If you have any questions about any of this week's work, let me know. Otherwise, go ahead and get started on everything.